Those are the sights in downtown Detroit because we are live from Ford Field for the Detroit Lions post-game show. The final coming from Ford Field, 34-11 in those Cincinnati Bengals' favor. Today was a tough one. Alongside Lomas Brown, I'm Danny Rogers. We welcome you into the stadium. Yeah, today was tough. It was a tough one. But Lomas, how low did the chances go when you only have 36 yards rushing on the day? You allow your defense to be out there for 36 minutes, and you have 9 penalties for 77 yards.
It was terrible, Danny. I'm going to just say it. It was terrible from the offensive side of the ball. And, you know, again, I go back to what Coach has been saying the last couple of weeks. We depend on the offense. He's counting on the offense to put up points, to move the ball, to do what they have to do to keep the opposing offense on the sideline, and it's just not happening. It's just not happening. We don't seem to be, our chemistry doesn't seem to be there. And look, injuries are a big part of this. I'm not trying to make excuses, but injuries are a big part. We're missing a lot of players. But the guys that are given the opportunities, they have to step up, and they haven't been stepping up in these key situations.
In the last 4 games, these Lions have generated 6 points in the first half. Getting it done and putting some points up on the fourth quarter, it's just clear that is not going to work from now on.
No, it's not. It really isn't. And something's going to have to change. Either we're going to have to relook at the playbook, or we're going to have to look at guys in different positions, or we're going to have to do something. But some adjustments have to be made on the offensive side of the ball, because they got to come out. They got to be able to start faster. And that's the thing. It's just been slow starts from the offense, and it's really putting a lot of pressure on the defense.
Like I mentioned, Lions not able to generate any points in this first half against the Bengals. So what were you looking for adjustment-wise going into that second half?
Well, again, I thought we were, and what we keep saying is that we need to look at some explosive plays. I mean, it seemed like a lot of our plays are check downs, or they're short slants, things across the middle of the field, and you got to make safeties in this league work. If you could get if the Bengals could sit 2 safeties back deep, and all they do is run up and make tackles, then you're not going to have a lot of success. We're going to have to figure out ways of stretching the ball downfield and really making the opposing team's safeties work a lot harder.
There was one bright spot for the offense. We've been asking for TJ Hawkinson, the tight end, to get more involved. He had 11 targets, 8 receptions. It looked like they were able to get him going at least a little bit today.
Yeah, they did. They moved TJ around a lot. They gave him short passes. They tried to hit him long. They hit him medium. So they did a lot to incorporate TJ into the game plan today, and that's the positive. It really is, because he's our best receiver. But again, everybody else is going to have to step up, because they're going to start double teaming TJ. So you're going to have receivers that are going to have one-on-one matchups. What are you going to do when you have your one-on-one matchup?
All right, let's see what the Lions did in terms of final stats for the game. I already spoiled it once for you guys. 36 rushing yards on the day to Bengals 142. Those passing yards 192. Most of those coming in the second half. 38 yards from Jared Goff there in the first half. Turnovers, 1 to each, but that time of possession is still sticking out to me. Bengals offense on the field for 36 minutes, which means this Lions defense hardly caught a breath.
Yeah, it was like they go on the sideline, 3 plays and they're back in. Go to the sideline, 3 plays, you're back in. And you can't have a successful defense. You don't give your defense enough time to not the rest, but also make defensive adjustments. And that's what happened today. The defense, look, I give them a lot of credit. They put up a gallant effort today. You know, again, the game kind of got away from us, but they played well in the first half. They played well enough to keep us in the game, but offense, again, they need to be able to come through and help this team out.
Julian Okwara able to get a sack, as well as Austin Bryant. He was up there with Stout up front. And then, of course, we will talk about it more, but the Amani Oruwariye interception, that's his 3rd in 4 games. He had last week off in the interception realm. But Amani Oruwariye, he's considered a veteran. He's in his 3rd year in his secondary.
I know.
He's making plays, although there is a lot of pressure on his shoulders.
It really is. I mean, he's the leader back there if you think about it. And like you say, he's only in his 3rd year, but he's been making some big plays. He's been coming up with big turnovers. I think Tracy Walker is playing a lot better at the safety position. But again, Danny, both of them are tied together. the defensive rush is tied to the coverage in the secondary. And if you get one area that's doing well and the other one isn't, then it's just going to make it that much tougher on the team. Again, I expected a lot more from the from our offense today to help out the defense. It just didn't happen. Like I say, putting a lot of pressure on the defensive side of the ball to come up with turnovers or to come up with big plays.
Speaking of the offense, we talked about it, Lomas, right before we got on camera here. The duo of Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift, usually they're a 1-2 punch, and they'll go out there and they'll make plays together. Less than a handful of plays, they were out there together, really trying to mix up defenses and open themselves up. But let's take a look at how DeAndre Swift ended the game. He, of course, scored the only touchdown today, 24 rushing yards. I mean, that's an issue.
That is an issue. It really is. And I know, again, we talked about Taylor Decker being out. You talk about Frank Ragnow being out. But the offensive line, they're going to have to create more holes for the running backs. They're going to have to do some other things to try to incorporate DeAndre Swift more so into the game plan. And even Jamal Williams. I mean, I don't think he had his normal amount of touches in the game. And, of course, that happens when you fall behind. You're not able to run the ball like you would want to. But, again, you would hope when you run it, you have positive runs, and it'd be quality runs that you're able to do. We weren't able to do either one, quantity or quality today.
Right, the Lions not getting their first down until the second quarter. They were 1 for 7 on third downs, incredibly inefficient today.
See, Danny, I started having nightmares. I played in the game way back in the 90s against Minnesota. I think we might have had 3 or 4 first downs the whole game. So I know what that feels like when you're not able to move the ball, when nothing goes right for you. I know what that feeling is. But again, the Lions, this week coming up, they're going to just have to settle down, maybe take some plays out the playbook, maybe get a handful of plays that you practice over and over and over again till you're perfect at those plays. They're going to have to make some type of adjustments on the offensive side of the ball.
Quarterback Jared Goff, he has not thrown a touchdown pass in the first half in the last 4 of these games. What's got to give?
Yeah, wow. That's a wait a minute, I'm kind of stung by that stat right there. But and not to put everything on Jared's shoulder. You know, we're not trying to do that. But again, the quarterback is the guy, the catalyst that makes your team go, that gets your offense going. So maybe hurry up a little early in the game. That seems to be successful. We seem to move the ball when we go no huddle. Maybe we mix that in earlier in the game and get Jared going and get that offense going. But something's going to have to happen.
There you see 4.8 average yards a pass. It's just not going to get it done, especially when head coach Dan Campbell says he wants his explosive plays on the catch, not after the catch. He said his mindset, throw downfield, get that ball down the field.
Exactly. And we had the opportunity. Jared had T.J. Hockenson open. That would have been a walk-in touchdown. He missed the throw on that. And I guess that's what coach is saying. When you have those opportunities, you got to make the most of them because you don't get that many opportunities in the NFL against good teams. And so to say that the Bengals were that much of a better team than we were, I wouldn't concede that, but I have to look at the scoreboard.
You sure do. That offensive line, it is depleted, of course, with center Frank Ragnow out for the season with a toe injury. He just had successful surgery on that this past weekend. Penei Sewell, what did you see from him where he is preparing for Taylor Decker to come back into that left tackle spot?
Well, I mean, again, I've been saying it the whole time. I want them to move him back to the right side, Danny, because the NFL, it's a learning curve. I don't care how you come in the NFL. If you're a young guy in the NFL, you got some lessons to learn.
Sure do.
And it's been tough on the young fellow over there on the left side facing the best pass rushers off every team. Put him on the right side, let him kind of get his feet, his foundation up under him and stuff, and let him gain some confidence being over there. Put Taylor Decker, who's used to being on the left side, put him back in. He's been a very good player for us the past couple of years, so put your best player over there. Let the young fella learn. Us young guys, we need we need to learn, and he's a young guy that needs to learn what the NFL is all about.
Of course, Decker has been inactive here for a few weeks. Head coach Dan Campbell said they are working him back into practice reps. So his return, it could come against Matthew Stafford next week in LA.
we'll need them because you're talking about Stafford on the offense. So don't forget about that guy named Aaron Donald right there. Or they got Jalen Ramsey in the backfield. They got a very good defense. So we're going to need all hands on deck to protect Jared and to make sure these guys get some running lanes against that Rams defense.
Yeah, and not to jump ahead to that LA game, but Aaron Donald's probably going to want to get a sack on his former quarterback.
Yeah, I think so. And and I'm hoping that we feel that way on our side, that we want to get some sacks. Yeah,
I mean, it's a young group. Most players on this Lions defense might not have even seen Matthew Stafford, been on the same team as him, but I don't want to jump too far on that. We will get to the preview of the LA Rams game when the Lions travel there next weekend to see what SoFi Stadium is all about.
Ooh, I want to see that stadium
too,
Danny.
I do too. We get Minnesota, we get SoFi in the same. I know. All right. Ford Field is obviously beautiful. We love being indoors.
Yes.
But you talk about how young this team is. You can't put everything on Jared Goff. Yeah. He did move the sticks, get the ball down to Amon-Ra St. Brown, the rookie, who could not secure the ball. It was fumbled in the air, called as an interception, and Bengals take it back the other way. That set up scoring plays.
Well, that's the biggest thing, too, that I take away is turnovers and penalties. We get them at the wrong time. We'll have drives going, and we get penalties. We had a couple of false start penalties. We had penalties that came at the wrong time, and that really hurts the team. And then, of course, turnovers. Anytime you get a turnover, it's a bad thing. And you're right. He got the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown, but he just couldn't handle the pass or couldn't handle it, and they were able to take it away. So those are momentum killers. Anytime you got your momentum going and you get a penalty or a turnover, it really stops the drive.
It sure does, and that's what Amani Oruwariye was able to do with his third interception of the season, third in 4 games. Let's take a look at what he was able to do today. Total tackles 2, solo 1. And he even had a pass defended. He's all over the place. He knew he had his hands full today with wide receiver Ja'Marr Chase, who his middle name is Explosive. I'll say that. I don't think it's on his birth certificate, but that's what we're calling him. Ja'Marr Explosive Chase. He was able to come up with some explosive plays today. Yes. But how much are you seeing growth from Oruwariye now in this season?
I am. I'm really seeing growth. And I'm seeing growth from the secondary. Again, like I say, the secondary and the defensive line, they're tied together. But those guys, they did some nice job out there at times. They were able to cover guys. They forced Joe Burrows to pull the ball down and try to run with it without getting penalties. So that was good to see them. And I see them getting better and better. I also see Aaron Glenn putting those guys in positions to have success. He likes to blitz those guys a lot more. You've seen Tracy Walker in the box a lot more, and you've seen Tracy coming after guys. So I like what we're doing. Our philosophy from the defensive side of the ball, guys just have to make plays when they're in position to make those plays.
They sure do. And like we keep saying, this is a young secondary. However, they're still continuing to hold their own. Okay, let's hear from the head coach, Dan Campbell himself. He's at the podium.
This year we got whipped. That was brutal. We took it, and they got after us. Credit Cincinnati. They were ready to go, and we didn't do anything right. Thought we played a little defense early in that game, first half, other than the shot play we gave up. But we were in it, and just we couldn't sustain. And offensively, we had no rhythm. We had no tempo. We couldn't execute on third down. Missed opportunities, and that's the story of the game. So, that was a beatdown.
Why do you think the effort wasn't there like it was the first 5 games?
You know what? More importantly, the focus wasn't there. And I've said that I told the team this. Look, man, I'm going to look at everything. That's my job. But when you get whipped like that, that's on me. There's no other way around that. Of course, we'll look at everything, but that's a reflection on me. That's a reflection on me. You don't play like that. We don't have a team that is, that team is not 30-something points better than us. There's no way. And, they did. They played well over there. But we didn't execute. We talked about tempo. We come out. We go penalty. We go MA on offense. I mean, what the heck? So we shot ourselves in the foot. We could not execute. We had some plays that were there to make. We didn't make them. So it's brutal. It's on me.
Dan, is this the first time that you're truly disappointed and angry?
Yes. Yes, it is. That was brutal. We weren't even in that fight. We weren't even in it. We weren't. I mean, all everything that we did there. You look at our stats offensively. That was because they're just in prevent cover 2. They're just we should make those plays. So it's not good enough. It's not. You know what? In defense, if that's the game, if that's the way it's going, our defense can't allow us. They can't allow the opponent to score them. So be it. That's life. If you're the ones who are playing best, you got to hold them and keep us in the game. Then keep it to where we can score maybe one score and find a way to win the game. But that was not good. It's not good.
Dan, have you considered maybe making some kind of change? I mean, even just to bring David Blau in to try to give a little injection, because obviously you have very few pieces to maneuver with between injuries and youth and inexperience on this team. What kind of changes can you make to maybe give the offense at least a little bit of an injection?
Well, we're gonna look at everything. All right, I need to go look at the tape tonight. You know, it's easy to get upset with what we're doing or certain players at certain times, and but we'll look at everything. You know, I've got about 1 million ideas just floating around up here right now as to what I want to do. You know, how do we create tempo for our offense? More important, that's where I feel like we're struggling right now. We have no momentum, no rhythm, no tempo offensively, and it's killing us right now, and it's killing us on third down. And until we can begin to complement and help each other out, offense, defense, we need special teams to make a play. We can't have a block in the back that puts us down inside the 20. I mean, those just crush us, you know. Shoot, man, Amani comes up with the ball again. He's got a great interception. What do we do offensively? We end up, you know, we can't make the catch, and it's an interception right back to him. And so we're going to look at everything, though.
When you put something like this on yourself, Dan, what does that mean? I mean, what do you feel like you didn't do right through the course of this week that set this up? Yeah,
well, I probably should have been a little bit more forceful on Wednesday is probably what I should have done. You know, we didn't go pads. Maybe we should have gone pads. I'm going to think about all this. I know this. I'll be looking directly at myself tonight first before anything else, because that's the bottom line. You don't get whipped like that unless you're freaking your head coach has a hand in that. That's the truth. So.
But what's the message that you delivered to your team after the game?
Everything I just told you.
What happened on Wednesday's practice? Just a bad practice or what?
No, it was just, you know, there again, it was a little bit like we'd done the week before, except we didn't go pads, you know. And it was more of a teaching type deal to get our bodies back a little bit. And, you know, maybe we were just a little too lax. Maybe it just wasn't quite honed in the way it needed to be. And, you know, and so that's where it's got to begin. It's always got to be in it. And it doesn't matter if you're 0-5 or 0-6. If you're not coming back to work, refocused, ready to go, I mean, you got a job to do. We got a job to do. And if you got any pride about you, you come back to work. So.
If you look at the last 4 games, you guys haven't scored a touchdown in the first half. They'll get up to these slow starts.
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak on that a little bit? What is your confidence in Jared Goff moving forward? I mean, 51.
It has nothing to do with Jared. That's not true, E. That's not true. But what I'm saying is I don't put this all on Jared Goff. This is a collective. This is collective offensively for everything from how can we help schematically to, man, are we man at the improper time? Are the guys getting open? Is he making the throw he should? Is he making the right read? So this is a collective, believe me, this is a collective effort offensively that we're, you know, we're digging ourselves into a ditch with offensively. So this is all of it.
Again, is the lack of focus something to worry about long term, or you believe that this team is able to get that back next week after a week?
Yeah, I trust our players. I do. You know, there again, we're young. I know I like the captains on this team, and I know what they're about. And I still like these players, you know. I mean, this is the first time I feel like we weren't in it. And so I believe that we'll refocus, you know. I think these guys will come back to work. And we just, there again, man, we got to go. And there's got to be a point of emphasis to it. And you got to have some pride about you. And we have to, as coaches, put a good game plan together for them, give them the best opportunity to have success. That's our job.
Dave, at any point today, did you consider sitting Jared?
No.
Even for momentum?
Nope. Did not.
And just to be clear, because Jen asked about Blau and Eric asked about, you know, Goff going forward, is that one of the changes that you will be considering, the change of quarterback?
No. Now, it doesn't mean that something won't ever come up. I'm going to look at everything, you know. But look, to me, this was a collective effort offensively. This is not. You can't blame one person there. Just like, you know, I know maybe you think it's easy to just throw it out and for me to blame it on myself. Look, I gave plenty of. They heard plenty from me in there. But the bottom line, that is the truth, is that I didn't help them. I didn't help them prepare for this game properly, or help our coaches help them prepare properly. So yeah, they got a hand in it, and we'll be evaluating them. But everybody's going to be evaluated as well. Everybody.
Sorry about that. He did miss, Hawkinson on a touchdown. He has, some of the numbers don't look good.
Yeah, there's some guys that MA'd too, and he's trying to make a throw with guys that are MAing. And so he can't even trust where the hell they're supposed to be at. So I'm with you. I don't mean to get upset.
That's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah. So yeah, look, he's got to make some throws, and then our receivers got to be where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. And we can't mess around. But I know.
Yeah, we've seen
I know.
for some tough losses, and you've been cool and calm. For
Yeah.
the most part, you're obviously fired up and pissed off today. Can you explain the juxtaposition of emotion why you're so?
No, because we weren't in this. We weren't even in this game. It's demoralizing when you are under 2 and they're kneeling the ball and I have 3 timeouts. And it's it's just kudos to them. They did a damn good job. They whipped our ass.
I'm sorry, Dan. Could you sense it coming at all?
No. Nope. Nope. Couldn't.
Hey, Dan, coming out of the locker room, still close ball game, 10-0. You got 4th and 1, big play to maybe change that momentum. What happened there? It seemed like a missed assignment. Mixon probably should have been wide open.
On the roll pass. Yeah, I'm with you. So really that was, you'd like to think you're going to be able to take the edge on that. That was a little more of an all-out play the run. You're kind of, at that point in the game, you're kind of playing the odds, if you will. And so not that we don't have somebody for him, but you're hoping your edge defender maybe at least nudges him, hits him, something. And so, look, it was a good play call, and you're kind of going all out there to see if you can get a stop.
Dan, how do you judge your quarterback with the offensive line missing 2 guys, receiving room keeps being shuttled in and out? Can you judge your quarterback harshly with everything that's going on?
Yeah, look, I think I will say this. I still don't feel like we can accurately judge him one way or another. I don't feel that way yet. Now, I will say this. I feel like he needs to step up more than he has, and I think he needs to help us. Just like everybody else. And I think he's going to need to put a little bit of weight on his shoulders here, and it's time to step up, make some throws, and do some things. And but he needs help. He needs help. And look, I told him out there, he knows this, but some of that stuff, we're getting these holding calls. Well, it's because he's drifting back in the pocket 10 yards deep. That's not fair to those guys either. And if you hang on to the ball, so it's like I told you, this is a collective effort now. Everything goes hand in hand. But I want to see him step up. I do, because I think he can do it.
Just wanted to ask you, you did use one of those timeouts there after 2 minutes when they were taking a knee. Was there a message that you were sending with that? Was that why you used that?
Yeah, that was it. I'm not, wasn't over, and I got timeouts, so let's see if we can stop them here and go down and score again. And then onside kick. And then, we probably don't have enough time, but that's the whole point. So. All right, see y'all.
We're going to scratch and claw and fight. And we're going to be something this city's proud of. We aren't just the Lions. We're the Detroit Lions. And we're driven by the best. By the people of this city. We are driven by Detroit.
To quickly recap head coach Dan Campbell's presser just there. First off, he is furious.
Yes.
He's taking this responsibility and putting it on himself.
Yes.
When you lose 34-11, he says that is the coach's fault. He's also not putting this all on Jared Goff's shoulders, but he is asking him to step up like you just heard.
Yeah, Danny, when a coach puts it on him, that means it's going to be a hell of a week in practice, and it's not going to be a good week for those players. And he knows that. He knows it, and he said some things that really kind of opened my eyes. I mean, I really hadn't heard him say much about in the terms of criticizing Jared Goff, but he did say he's going to have to step up. He's going to have to make some of those throws. So even some of those pass rushes on him, he needs to step up in the pocket and stop drifting back. So those are little things that coach is looking for. But man, I hate to be a player this week out there at practices. This is going to be a tough one out there.
I mean, you said it before we even got on the air. This week in practice, it's going to be a tough one. But Dan Campbell kept saying he needs to go back and look at the film to really digest what happened. What do you think is going to stick out to him the most?
Well, I think the thing, one, is definitely the inefficiencies on the offensive side of the ball. And when I say that, Danny, I mean he could start with the offensive line. He could start with Jared Goff, like he said. And he can even start with the receivers being where they need to be at. We heard him say that. You can't have receivers not being where they need to be at. So that's a mental error. I know the pre-snap penalties got to be killing him, the false starts and, some of the things that we had today. So those are things that drive a coach mad. And I know those are going to be things that he emphasized this week in practice. And I think he's going to put the pads back on. We heard him. Woo!
Yeah, he said no pads were out there Wednesday.
Yes.
Because it's Tuesdays are typically the big days.
Yeah, no, Wednesdays are typically the big days.
Okay.
But again,
why do you think they didn't have pads on?
See, and I'm thinking, man, as a coach, you're trying to pull back, you're trying to teach these guys more because it's a young team. But hey, like he said, he thinks guys got a little lapse on them. So now you got to put the pads back on and get that intensity back up to where it needs to be at. And that's the only way I know of doing this. Some 9-on-7s, some 1-on-1s, some grunting, a lot of things like that is going to go on out at practice.
Right, yep. Players, they do get their off day Tuesday, back at it Wednesday, and I have a feeling those pads will be out there. But Coach mentioned Amani Oruwariye, that big interception in his presser. He said, yes, it did follow up with an interception from the Lions offense. However, let's take a look at that play of the game real quick. It came in the first quarter, 2 minutes, 21 seconds left on the game. And Oruwariye, I bet he was just hungry to get an interception under his pocket again. There, Joe Burrow drops back, and that looked too easy for Amani.
It did. Well, Jamar Chase didn't come down with the pass. Nice hit by Tracy Walker on that. And, of course, on that penalty, we got a taunting called on that, too. So instead of the field position being where Amani was tackled at, you had to pull it back 15 yards because of the taunting penalty. So, again, just like Coach says, man, you take 2 steps forward and you take 3 or 4 backwards, and you just can't do that if you want to be a big good team and you want to beat good teams too.
I agree. It was about 4 steps back after this great play by Amani because of the Tracy Walker taunting call, and then of course the Amon-Ra St. Brown interception that followed suit. So at first quarter it looked like it was coming back. However, Bengals, 10 points in that first half, 24 in the second half.
Yes, they went to the locker room at halftime. They made the adjustments they needed to make. And you know what was discouraging to me, to be honest with you? They were able to pull Joe Burrow out the game and put in their backup quarterback, their backup running back. As a competitor, that's kind of embarrassing. It really is. Now, that happens in the preseason.
That does happen in the preseason.
But during the regular season, that's kind of embarrassing. So I hope those guys look at it this way and their sense of pride comes out, because you don't want teams being able to do that, and that's exactly what Cincinnati did to us today.
All right, let's check in with the cornerback, Amani Oruwariye, who you just saw had that great interception, and see what he has to say at the podium now.
The game plan, they got a score and a field goal, but we felt pretty good in the first half. The second half, we got to tackle better. We got to run to the ball better. We just all around, we got to be better and help our offense out.
I know you're a leader here. This is a young group, but sometimes kind of like a slippery slope when things slowly start to get in the way, like just harder for young players to show that resiliency that they need to?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a lot of guys who lack some experience, but I mean, we don't care. You know what I mean? We got to win now with whoever we have, and we just need guys to step up from, I mean, all around the field, man. It's I just piggyback off what Dan said. I didn't think we played well at all today. So we all just got to look ourselves in the mirror and find a way to get better.
Dan was fired up in here. He's pretty upset with, you know, pace and tempo and mistakes and focus and all this stuff. I'm curious what his message was to the team in the locker room. He said he was pretty, you know, aggressive in there as well.
I think all in all, he was just saying that wasn't us. He felt like every week we've been on the incline, and he didn't feel like we got better at all today through our offense, defense, and special teams. So, and he's right. So we'll bounce back. We're just gonna be very critical of ourselves and then get ready for next week.
So how much do you think the defense can pick it up if the offense is struggling the way it is? How much responsibility do you think?
If the offense doesn't score, it should be 0-0. That's the only way I can really put it. We got to find a way to keep getting stops and help them out as much as we can. So they'll be fine. I promise you they will be fine.
Why do you think you guys didn't have the effort, the energy that was there, that you had in previous weeks? I mean, is it you get beat down from losing at some point? Is that part of that?
I don't want to say that. I don't think I wouldn't say we're numb to it at all. I think we're still, we're attacking every week, just like expecting to win. But we just got to execute the game plan. We got to execute. We got to tackle better. We got to just play more intense. We got to play like we're not on our heels and just attack, be on the attack all the time. So we'll get there.
We saw Dan's anger here. I mean, how would you characterize the overall mood of the locker room, particularly with the players?
Yeah, man. I mean, Dan's passionate about this. Even last week, you saw he was a little emotional because he saw how bad he wanted it for us. And then this week, he was pissed because he's like, I know that's not y'all. So it's just we got to find a way to just get a win, play our best football we can do, because I still don't think we played our best football out there yet. And we do that, I think we'll like where we're at.
3 picks in 4 weeks for you personally. Can you just speak on how you think you're playing right now?
Just right place at the right time, man. I think just trying to make that turnover for our team whenever I can. And so when the ball's there, I've always tried to just be that guy to make the play. So I'm happy I could do that.
I know you're busy taking care of business on the other side of the field, but what were your impressions of Jerry this week? Pretty good wide receiver out there.
I thought he did well. He challenged him. I thought he was up in his face, and that's not what a lot of people do around the league. They haven't really got up in his face on film, so I thought he did well on that. But he's still young, so we just gotta get at him, keep going. But I told him after the game, man, keep going, man. Just keep churning, bro. It's the life of a corner. Just short-term memory and just keep bouncing back. So.
Amani, when you guys get beat like this, and your coach was pretty outspoken about it really being, the worst that he has seen from this group, how do you not let that affect what's going on inside the locker room? I mean, there's been so much positive energy of you guys taking steps forward through the first 5 weeks, even though the losses were mounting. How do you guys kind of take that?
The thing is, I would say this year, and I've been here 3 years, I would say this year we don't have losers on our team. Even though our record is what it is, that's a loser's mentality to come in and chirp behind the door saying what we should do, what we shouldn't do. I don't think we have that on our team. So that's how we just keep that mentality, keep churning, keep working. I know at some point this is going to change. So.
All right, thanks, Amani.
Yep. The game plan.
You just heard from cornerback Amani Oruwariye, who is echoing his head coach's sentiment, saying, yeah, the head coach is ticked off because that was not the Lions team that we have seen the last 5 weeks in this league.
Yeah, coach said he thought the team had been on a steady incline, and he said today was the first game that he felt that the team declined, and that's telling, especially when you're talking about the 6th week of the season, and you want to be going this way as a team, and for them to back up a couple of steps this week, it doesn't bode well. So again, like I say, they're going to get back to some basics in practice this week, and hopefully they'll be able to clean up a lot of things that went wrong in this game.
We were praising the defense in this, and then Coach Campbell steps up and says, yeah, but they let 34 points on the board. You still have to go out there and do your job.
But I think that's being a little hard on the defense because, Danny, I thought they played well in the first half. I thought they played well enough for if the offense would have been doing anything, it would have been a close game, you know, and something that they could have really hung their hats on. But you keep the defense out there that amount of time, they're going to get tired. You ask the defense to run from sideline to sideline. You ask these guys to get downfield and expend a lot of energy. And if you got them going in 3 plays and out, and they're right back on the field, it's going to be hard for them to keep that for a whole 60 minutes of the game. So I know coaches, like he said, he's ticked off the day. He's going to look at film and reevaluate. And I think he might reevaluate his defense a little differently than he feels right now.
He may feel that they were, a little tired being out there for 36 minutes. However, they did allow these Bengals to be 100% on 4th down in the red zone, and they were over 50% good on 3rd down conversions. How do you grow from numbers like that?
I mean, again, you're going to have to put more of an emphasis on 3rd down, on 4th down, making sure that you get the defense off the field. You have to come up with that stop. Whether it's a 3rd and 1, you got to come up with that stop. It's a 3rd and 19, you got to come up with those stops. And that's what he needs to emphasize to his defense, that these are necessary stops that we have to have so we can get our offense back on the field.
That defense took its first dagger there in the first quarter with a 24-yard pass to running back Chris Evans. He was matched up with linebacker Jalen Reeves-Maven. The mismatches are still popping up here in Week 6.
I'm telling you, that was such a sweet move that he threw on Jalen Reeves-Maven. We watched that, and it was an unbelievable move. I mean, sometimes they are better than we are. That particular play, he was better than Jalen Reeves-Maven. You got to give them a lot of credit. Like you say, they got the one-on-one matchup that they wanted. They took advantage of it. Joe Burrow delivered the ball where he needed to, and it was a touchdown.
Yes, of course, we knew explosive plays were going to come up today. I mean, you have wide receiver Jamar Chase, who leads rookies in touchdowns right now and has 11 receptions.
What'd you say his middle name was?
Jamar Explosive Chase. The explosive plays were going to come. However, this defense still did not anticipate it. They let a 34-yard dagger go to Chase. They let a 40-yard dagger go to Joe Mixon down there. And did you see Jamar Chase kind of ran over Will Harris and let his teammate score? Yeah, I did see that. I didn't want to see it, but I did see that. You know, and again, our tackling needs to get better. We had too many mixed tackles. When a guy get the opportunity to bring these guys down one-on-one, they do it on their side of the ball. We don't do it on our side of the ball. So how much is this defense just not tackling, or is it the lack of focus, like head coach Dan Campbell just said, where they're missing assignments? I
think it's some of both. I think we are missing tackles when you have that opportunity to do it, but I do think it's guys not being in the right position they need to be in, and that comes back to mental preparation. You have to do that. And like I say, some of these pre-snap penalties, those are mental errors. There's no other way to put that. When you have a pre-snap penalty, it's a mental error. So I think it's a combination of both. Mentally, they have to get sharper out there, but physically, they got to be able to make the one-on-one tackle when you need to make it.
They sure do. All right, the final from Ford Field, 34-11, going in those Bengals' favors. But let's check in around the rest of the league. NFC North was in action today. We're getting a little bit of noise coming from Carolina, where Minnesota apparently missed. They decided to miss a field goal, a game-winning field goal today.
Why couldn't they do that a week earlier?
I mean,
you know
what?
That would have helped.
It's all about timing here, and timing is not on the Detroit Lions side. I'm looking at the LA Rams. New York Giants score 38-11. That was a big win coming from them, and then that Green Bay Chicago, another NFC North matchup, that looked pretty close there to start. 24-14. It looks like is going to be the final if they're not already finished just yet. So, I mean, it's been highly anticipated, Lomas.
Yes, it has.
Who's coming up on the schedule?
Oh, it's those LA guys out at that beautiful stadium called SoFi, and a former quarterback that used to be here. Matthew Stafford, the guy used to be here that's no longer here.
Nope.
So and I know the way he's been playing.
Hey, look at those guys. Yeah,
I mean,
here it is.
When he looks at this game film, he has to be licking his chops. And look, Matthew, he poured everything he did into his 12 years that he was here in Detroit. Hopefully, not against us, but hopefully he'll continue to have a good season. He could take off next week if he wants to.
I mean,
he could take it off if
he could
wants
just
to.
someone tell him the wrong time to the game.
There you go. Something, just tell him, pinky, something's bothering him.
We
He
all
wants to
know
get it
Matthew
well.
Stafford way
Yeah, I
better than
know,
that.
I know,
It's going to take
I
more than a
know.
pinky to keep him out of that game. Okay, yeah, the Lions, they have a big one. They can have a redemption game in LA. It's going to be high there up on everyone's dockets as they tune in to some football next Sunday. Lions going on the road to face those Rams, like you just saw, 4:05 p.m. kickoff. And it's going to be an interesting one. We'll both be on the road there. We'll be able to see that in person.
Yes,
It's gonna be
we
crazy.
will be. And again, we talk about Matthew, but on the other side of that ball, you're talking about Aaron Donald, one of the best, a 99 rating for Madden. Talking about Jalen Ramsey in the backfield, a 99 rating for Madden. So you're talking about two of the best players that this league has to offer, along with the rest of his guys. It's going to be a challenge both offensively and defensively for the Lions next week.
I mean, is it? Can you look at this in a good way and say, hey, these Lions are ticked off and maybe they've kicked the bee's nest?
Absolutely. Why not, Danny? I mean, again, now look, the key is to keep Matthew Stafford standing on the sideline. And how you do that is,
You
again,
sustain
there you
offensive
go.
drives.
Thank
Let's
you.
go. I never
Thank
played the
you.
game, but here we go.
Thank you. You got
You know?
it. You got it. We make it sound so simple, don't we?
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to, take myself back up to that press box now and get off this field. We are still waiting on quarterback Jared Goff to step to the podium. He has not made his way out there yet. What do you think Jared Goff's sentiments are going to be post this game?
Well, again, he's a leader, so I know he's going to put a lot of this on himself. That's what leaders do. They harbor the responsibility. But Jared knows that he doesn't have some of his weapons out there. He knows he's depleted on the offensive line with two of his starters being out. So he realizes this. But as a leader, he's going to put a lot of this on his shoulders that he needs to get better. He needs to bring the team with him and uplift this team, fair or unfair. That's the position that he plays, and that's the responsibility that those guys have at the quarterback position.
Jared Goff without a few weapons, like you just mentioned, Lomas. However, he does have one weapon, tight end TJ Hawkinson, and he completed 8 receptions, 74 yards for an average of 9.3 yards a reception. No touchdowns, but one was close.
Yes.
That rattled some feathers around here. But to see that from TJ coming in week 6 after he had started off so hot those first 2 weeks with 8 receptions in each game, is he on his way back?
I think so. And again, they're going to have to keep being creative with him. I think Anthony Lynn does a great job of putting him in different positions so the defense just can't key on him. They have him in motion. They'll put him in the slot position. They'll put him out wide. So they're doing some different things to put TJ Hawkinson in position to have success. I think that he's going to continue to get better. Teams know about him. He's not a secret, and anytime you're not a secret in this league, they focus in on you. So again, for me, somebody else just needs to step up to even help TJ. If somebody else could step up these receivers when they get their one-on-one.
The Lions almost had that with Quintez Cephas,
Yeah.
however, he's out now
He's out.
with a broken collarbone. So once again, the injuries, we don't want to put everything on that, but they are 100% playing a factor.
Oh,
in these.
without a doubt. And there's some bad injuries. And we were already kind of short-handed to start with, and you lose some of the guys that you depended on. Quintez Cephas was a guy coming into the season we were dependent on. Terrell Williams, another guy that we depended on to be our number one receiver. Like I said, our offensive line, a top 5 offensive line, then you lose your starting left tackle and you lose your starting center. So the injury bug hadn't been good to us. But like they say, nobody's not going to feel sorry for you in the NFL.
That's a tagline we've heard a couple times now here. But you look at the wide receiver core now, which we'll look at in a second. Quarterback Jared Goff has just stepped to the podium. Let's hear from him.
Get better. Look yourself in the mirror and move on and get better from it. That's all you can do is learn from it and try to get better.
Dan gave you a vote of confidence as a starter of this team. He also says he wants more out of you. He wants you to take a bigger role of helping bring this team along. What does that mean to you, and what more do you think you could do to kind of help this team get over the hump?
Yeah, I think I can always do more. You're never in a position where you feel like you're complacent, and of course we're nowhere near that. But I think I've got some experiences to rely on that I can relay to these guys and do my best to be the best leader I can be, and continue to try to find the open guy and get on the ball and take care of the football and do my job every day.
Are you finding it difficult to relay those experiences to some of the young guys, the receivers who've changed in the offensive line?
No, it's not difficult. No, and I think a lot of these guys, I'm not telling them anything they don't know, and just continuing to try to be the best leader I can be, and like I said, just do my job in every play and every day.
Dan said there was a lot of missed assignments out there around you. That was making things difficult for you. How difficult is that as the quarterback not being able to have that consistency or be able to rely on guys to?
We all have our issues. Every team, every play, there's things that happen, and whether that is or isn't happening, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, we need to all get better and find a way to win a game.
Your head coach was visibly frustrated. How would you describe the mood in the locker room?
Yeah, usually exactly how he looks, very frustrated, and I think this was the first one that we really got our butts kicked, and we felt it.
Do you let yourself get angry, upset like that after a loss like this, or do you try to stay even?
Yeah, I think, it's that balance, but you're not human if you're not upset. We put so much time and effort into all this, and so much energy and so much love for the game and passion, and to have a result like that and repeated results of losses is tough, and it doesn't kill our spirit or kill who we are, but for right now, we're mad and frustrated.
You assess yourself after the 6 games, first match. You look in the mirror, how do you think you played these first 6 games?
Up and down. There's been good, there's been bad, there's been stuff to work on. It's kind of always that way when you look at yourself and when you're critical of yourself. And like I said, everyone's got their things that they're working on, and I'm no different.
Some of the changes out there, you guys haven't scored. It's been 4 games in a row. You guys haven't got a touchdown in the first half. How can you change that to kind of get the game going a little bit more in the first half? Kind of prevent from taking these holes for you guys.
Yeah, I think we can say as much as we want. We want to start fast. We can say it over and over and over again. But until we really change something or do something differently about it, how can we expect a different result? So it's something that we're consistently working on and trying to get better at, is that starting fast and that giving our defense a little bit of a better chance than we given them in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Some of the blues out there seem directed at you, like the one pass that was a little short to Cadero late. How do you, when you got a great chance to know you, how do you sort of deal with that? Do you hear that?
I feel their frustration, man. These fans here deserve a lot better than what we've been giving them. So it's our job to do that, and there's frustrated people everywhere right now.
And what happened on the pass to Hawkins? The one that you just missed, it was the third down play.
Yep. Yeah, we were just kind of on different pages of where that should be, but I got to throw the ball better and hit him in stride and make the play. And TJ's a great player, and just kind of give him the ball and let him roll.
I'm sure you don't want to break down every play from today, but
I'm sorry?
I'm sure you don't want to break down every play from today, but just the 4th and 4, could you tell us what happened there?
I don't know what the play was.
Maybe you rolled out to the left and ended up pulling the ball away.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I saw the holding call and had a complete lapse of judgment of, okay, they're going to bring this ball back, so we're going to punt it anyways. And obviously we need a positive gain for that to happen, for them to accept the penalty and us to move back. But when I saw the holding call in the middle of the play, I figured it would be accepted, which it wouldn't be if I throw an incomplete pass. So, that was on me, just kind of thinking through that one the wrong way.
Jared, I think the wide receivers had 3 catches for 23 yards in the first 3 quarters. What are the defenses doing to take away that option for you?
Not much. They've just we've got to find a way to get them the ball and get them open, and I got to find a way to get them the ball. And I don't think defenses have done too much to make it that as hard as it's been.
It was mentioned just the revolving pieces, right? As are going down, and I know it's an next man up league, but what is your assessment of the chemistry of the offensive group that you have healthy right now?
It's good. It's good. You know, it's always hard when you do have guys that are in and out, but I've felt like it's been good. I mean, it's been as good as it can be with as many injuries as we've had, and especially a receiver. But like I've mentioned before, Kadero's a guy I'm comfortable with. I've got a lot of work with Khalif at this point, and same with St. Brown, and obviously TJ. So it's not bad.
Just 0-6, sort of the state of this team right now. How do you sort of keep the confidence up, the hope up, just being kind of where you are in the season?
Yeah, I think you know that you're truly tested about who you are in times like this, and you know it's hard to be the same person, and that's where I think you know you see a lot of guys' characters come out, and up to this point it's been, you know, we were 0-5 last week, and you didn't see anything that you wouldn't like to see throughout the week and in practice. So I don't expect that to be any different. I think we've got a good group and a group that won't give up on each other, and I think that'll go a long way for us in the long run.
In that regard, you take this as sort of a one-off, right? I mean,
No.
Mike was there the first. I mean, you know, the first 5 games, it seemed like everyone was flying.
They all count the same, man. It's, you know, we've got to find a way to win a game. I've got to be better. We all got to be better. I think it starts tomorrow. It starts in practice. You know, we can say all we want that we want to start fast and we want to do things on game day, but until we change habits and do things the right way consistently, can't really expect anything else.
I guess I meant from an effort standpoint, right? Like it was there the first 5 weeks, and maybe today it was.
It was there. It was there. They just got after us, man. They got after us. They did a good job defensively, offensively, and we didn't. But the effort, I don't believe, has ever not been there.
And Rams next week. We'll get you in a few days. But you know, thoughts on facing them?
No.
All right, thanks, JB.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Quarterback Jared Goff defined the word insanity there in his post-game presser, saying you do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, the Lions did the same thing over again, and they got the same result, another loss. Lomas, before we close out this post-game show, what is your biggest takeaway from this 34-11 beatdown of these Lions?
My biggest takeaway is I don't think the Cincinnati Bengals were that much of a better team than us. I really didn't, especially coming into this game. It's a lot of things that need to be cleaned up by the Lions on both sides of the ball, but especially on the offensive side of the ball. They got to get production out of the offensive side of the ball to at least try to help the defense out. That doesn't happen, just like even Coach said, maybe you even get a play from special teams, but they're not getting plays from any units right now, and it's really, really hurting this team.
It sure is. Okay, that is a wrap from Ford Field. Like we mentioned before, Lions now are going on the road. They will take on those LA Rams led by quarterback Matthew Stafford, who spent all of his career leading up to this season here in Detroit. So that's going to be an interesting one, a 4:05 kick there out in Los Angeles. Okay, for Lomas Brown, I'm Danny Rogers. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Detroit Lions post-game show. We'll see you next week.